I am a forever student. I love um, the fact that I think what keeps me um, high energy and interested and curious is because I'm always looking to lead with what I don't know. I don't meet very many people like that, so I like that about myself. That
Hmm.
that I never meet a stranger. I'm always looking to expand at any part of me by a new experience with someone else or where they're from,
Hmm.
their life experience. Um, I am the lover of all things healthy because I feel like um, our best selves are when we're the healthiest. Our
Yeah.
best hair is when it's healthy. Our best skin is when it's healthy. Our best body is when it's healthy. And so I love pursuing. I'm a person who pursues that degree of better health every day of my life.
Just knowing you and knowing that you're literally bringing yourself to the table as yourself when so many of us keep trying to fit into a thing, to be the thing, to be invited to the thing, to get on the thing. And it's like, girl, just be who you absolutely are.
If I can be the example and the living testimony of that, then amen, amen, ashe, amen. Because you already know that. We've talked about it, you
Yeah.
know, we've talked about it on a public platform on our soul food sessions for over a year on Instagram. And this is the work we were doing. So to be given this opportunity, what else could I do? Like to me, I didn't have a choice. It's like that's what I
But to
have.
show up as yourself. Like
Yes.
for real, as yourself. That's why I'm like, I don't think people understand how dope this is.
You helping me tell them because that's why we're here.
And that's why we here. I really want people to understand that, like, this could have been a show that you had years ago, right? Like, you could have easily had a lot of these different types of things, but it wasn't for you. It didn't hit the AJ-isms of it. Whether it was
No,
not allowing you to be who you were or do it in the way that you want to do it, you're the type of person that's gonna say, mm-mm,
I'll just
no,
wait. And,
yeah, I'm fine.
here's the other lesson. Not that because you know how you and I go. We'll do an interview and it turns into a that's me and you anyway. That's how we got started. What 2 years ago almost
Yeah,
now?
I had never even asked you a question, I think. And we were talking for like 45.
Exactly. We were just talking, and everybody was like, "We continued the conversation," and we kept talking. Don't be afraid to wait. And what's the work you're doing in the waiting? Do you remember
The
that?
work in the waiting. I
It's the
absolutely
work
remember
you do
that.
in the waiting. And so, the work I was doing was, we also talked about make sure you're ready, get ready and be ready. And what does that mean? Fashion wise, I
Hmm.
visions, keeping myself healthy, doing the work myself all the time so that I had more testimony to share with clients. So again, not thinking that was preparation for a show. I just said I don't know what the elevation from here is going to be because I'm happy. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I mean, what's not to
Yeah.
be about? I'm traveling the world. I'm working with the U.S. Embassy around Africa. I've got clients all over the world. Like there's nothing to complain about. I was feeling good. I'm acting when I have time when I'm in the US, it's like I'm doing great. And all of a sudden, network goes, "We want to give you a show." That part of it excites me that I'm just getting
Yeah.
to be my complete whole self.
What a blessing. What a
Amen.
blessing. That's the goal.
I love my life and I love me and I love what I'm interested in. So I don't need a whole lot of company. I've learned that when God is truly elevating you, you don't have a whole lot of time to half focus. The elevation requires dead on, uninterrupted focus. So all I want you to do is flip open a book and read the passage, and that's gonna be where we're gonna focus on in terms of what could be a block. So we're actually going to God and asking him, what's the block we're supposed to work on? Not the block we see, the block that you see. You ready? Just flip it open and you're gonna read what it says.
To the first page?
Whatever page you open. Whatever page you open is the page God has for you. Whatever you do, flip it open.
Do you feel like this show is going to say something about you? And do you think people are going to experience you in a certain type of way from this show?
Yeah, I think people are going to probably experience a more vulnerable AJ than they think probably exists. I cry more than the clients cry. I mean, at one point, the producers were like, "You cannot cry every time you meet somebody," and I was like, "But I'm so." But you
Like,
know,
well, yes, I can.
and yes, I did, and yes, I did. I mean, you know, it's like, and I said this in the promo, and I said this in Antoinette's episode. It's a gift to me when I see somebody's response to me surprising them after they've written me saying, "I wish I could afford you. You'll probably never see this email." And then I walk up on them. Like, that's a gift to me to see their face. And some of them just fell in my arms. Like, are you kidding me? Exactly.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, that, or just they're frozen and they just go limp. You know, they just go limp. Like, there's
Right.
one episode where I'm reading the email and I got to the point where I got choked up when I said, "AJ, you'll probably never see this email, but even just writing you with hopes you do is making me feel better already." And I got to that point reading the email to the person.
Oh, you got to actually say it to them?
Yes. Yes. I pulled up their email to me and read it to them. And when I got to that point, I said, "I saw your email, so here I am." And we both just, we both just lost it. So I think there's a more sensitive, vulnerable AJ that people are going to be introduced to. You're going to watch me in my process, and I think people that I have it all together, and I'm very open about my process, and who's part of my processing. It's all honesty. It's all no smoke and mirrors. Like, I wanted to make sure I created a vision of therapy that was real.
Right. Now, we all know how typically Black folks feel about therapy. There's a lot of us who don't reject it anymore, and who also will go forth and attempt or at least give it a chance.
Yes.
What has your experience been with them in regards to the therapy portion, in regards to the healing? What have you noticed in these clients when it's healing time?
Well, they, like I said, healing time happens in real time on most of the episodes. There may be one or two that there was no healing in the process, and I handled it very openly and honestly, and just basically said, this is a step, and the layers that you have to uncover for your healing, we're not going to get to them in one session, so to speak.
Right.
It's a process. So let's keep talking. Are you open to continuing the sessions? Are you open to talking? Are you open to therapy now? Is it something that you feel like is making a difference in how you're thinking and feeling about yourself? And then we leave it at that. So, every episode is not tied up neat and tidy with, the move that bus at the end, which I love, but every episode's not that. I'll give you there's one girl, I'll tell you, that's coming up in these first four that was raised in a cult. And I didn't know that there's a large number of African-American based cults around the country. Oh yeah, see? Oh yeah, you didn't know either. I didn't know that. And she asked for help. At first she asked for help healing from the fact that against her family's wishes, she turned in her mother, who was head of the cult, for murder. And listen, when I tell you, Danielle, the case take on this show, I can't wait to talk to you. We're gonna have to do our day after personally, because I want to hear what you think. Listen,
that's what I'm like, wait a minute now.
Yeah. And by the time we actually did the interview and shot with her and I started work with her, she decided that she was healed. And so I said, okay. I said, okay. And so the direction of the show shifted. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let you watch it and we'll talk about it after. But this is real stuff. This is not,
wow.
yeah, this is not neat and tidy on the show. This is not kumbaya all the time on the show. This is the real deal. And I couldn't have it any other way.
Where do you feel like you want to go after this? Like what's the, even though we're in the midst of it, what do you think is the next leg for yourself?
I feel like there's so many different directions to elevate in this space. Like I believe that God's positioned me and is preparing me to possibly do this globally. So, you know, there's so much room for this format, the show that we created. There's so much room for the format in different countries, you know, different age ranges, you know. So
Right.
I feel like in life coaching, I think I kind of found my groove, and I would love to explore, because like, you know, I would love to explore the celebrity edition. I would love to explore the teenage edition. I would love to say,
wow, yeah.
you know, let's go to different countries and see what they're dealing with as I mean, listen, the sky's the limit. You know, I don't believe in limits. So in terms of this life coaching lane, I'm you know, we're just kind of coming out of the production space of it. So I still have a lot of sleep to get. I still have I got a couple of massages I'm overdue for.
Yeah.
Smoothies I need to just sit and stare while I'm sitting there. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got some healing to do, you know.
Yeah.
I've got some self-care healing to do. So that's kind of my focus right now. But I'm just excited to now move into the post-production of it and help pump it up and bring it to you all.
Yeah. Well, AJ, I must say, I must say, I am just so excited and so proud and just so ready for the world to see you continue to be exactly who you are, but also in just healing and helping so many amazing people just change where their lives are and where they've been and bring them into something brand new for themselves. It's got to feel so good. So good.
You know, that feels good. It feels good that whether I talk to each and every person that I've had a conversation with before about where do I go from here, how can I be more confident, I don't know what purpose-driven life means, all the conversations I've had with people, I am so excited to now be a living example of so many conversations, you know.
Yeah.
All the conversations that we talked about, you know, all those conversations that we had in our personal time, in our soul food session time, you know, here we are. Like, you know, I wanted to even go back, and I haven't had time to do it honestly, but I'm not even quite sure if I have the book with me. But my notebook for our soul food sessions,
Yeah.
the theme of every month, and a couple of our soul food sessions people have put it up on my social media page to say like abundance in August and ascend in April and supernatural in September, overflow in October. All of those, like a year back, somebody just listed them and said, "This is who you are." And I sat there and like cried because I was like, "Wow, I'm so honored to be chosen to be such an example of how he works. If you just believe, if you just, you know,
Yeah. And do the work.
and do the work, and do the
Do
work."
the work.
Real with that girl, yeah.